Goku, Vegeta, Bardock, and Raditz are all with Beerus now, each aiming to become the strongest, but they still have some challenges up ahead. We'll cover all that and more in the 6th part of What If Goku Met Bardock. Let's fast forward to the Universe 6 tournament. For the team here, it's pretty straightforward. Goku, Raditz, Vegeta, Bardock, and Piccolo. And the tournament's going to be pretty straightforward. Let's put Raditz up first. He fights Potamo, easily defeats him, fights Frost, easily defeats him, fights Magetta, finds out his weakness and defeats him, and then that brings him to Kaba, which would also be a pretty easy fight, but at least this one would be more interesting for him. This is really great for Raditz. He gets to finally show off after all this time. Not that his opponents are particularly strong compared to him or anything. And this makes his head get a little big because next he's up against Hit, and obviously that's not going to go too well for him. Considering Battle of Gods happened earlier and everyone's had way more training than normal, they're all pretty well off here. The whole team's pretty strong. Raditz by now of course has Super Saiyan Blue, and same for everybody else. But that's not enough for Hit. Hit defeats Raditz, and the next person up is actually Vegeta. But Raditz didn't get immediately defeated though. He was in the ring just long enough for Vegeta to watch the fight closely and figure out what Hit was doing. So he uses that to his advantage here. Plus, Vegeta is also very powerful as is. Even just in Super Saiyan Blue alone, he's able to keep up with Hit. But in order to break through time skip, he's going to need a little more than that. Not just strategy, but a little extra power could be nice. Thankfully, he has exactly what he needs here. Raditz's peak right now is Super Saiyan Blue. He's wondering if he could do something with Super Saiyan 4 in Blue maybe, but that's kind of far off. As for Goku and Bardock, they both have Blue Kaioken for themselves. As for Vegeta, he didn't really have anything unique to himself. At least until now. With all the extra time, he's gone beyond Super Saiyan Blue at this point, and he shows it off against Hit. Hit activates his time skip for a counterattack against Vegeta, but Vegeta then suddenly powers up, and it catches Hit off guard. Vegeta's speed dramatically increases, and so does his strength, and Vegeta counters Hit's counter. He's grown significantly stronger from this, and he's clearly transformed. This is a new stage of Super Saiyan Blue that only Vegeta has at the moment. It's an evolution of it. Over and over again, he's able to break through Hit's time skip with this. His speed and strength far surpass him, and that lets Vegeta win this battle, knocking Hit clean out of the ring and winning for Universe 7, which means Beerus ends up getting the wish and he makes the same wish as normal, restore Earth in Universe 6. And you guys know who shows up after this arc, so let's go to the future timeline for a bit. We have some extra things to cover. After everything that happened in the present timeline, Raditz and Trunks had returned home, continuing to rebuild Earth. Things have been going pretty well too. They've trained, grown a lot stronger, and at some point there was a big threat on Earth, Majin Buu. At least, he was supposed to be a threat, but they were able to stop him pretty quickly. Shin and Kibito recruited Raditz and Trunks to help against it, and it was pretty easy considering how strong they were. Dabur was no match for them, and as for Babidi, they were able to stop him before Buu was even revived. And following this, the two of them went to the Sacred World of Kai to continue training, growing even stronger than before. They've been trying to go beyond Super Saiyan 2, and they were able to get Super Saiyan 3, but thankfully they found something else on the Sacred World of Kai, the Z-Sword, which was pretty helpful at first, but then it broke, although that freed Elder Kai, and they learned about the ultimate ritual. Considering these two are the last warriors on Earth, and they need to do everything they can to protect it, they ended up getting the ritual for themselves. Both of them now have the ultimate form. But even after getting their potential unlocked, they continue training here, growing with each passing day. And besides the threat of Majin Buu, things have been peaceful ever since the androids have been dealt with. And this will be a pretty great deterrent. With how strong they are, they're probably not going to face any big threats in the future. Anyone that even tries to mess with them won't be able to. They're just so strong by now. And besides, if things get really bad, they can always resort to the time machine again. But right after Buu's defeat, there actually is a threat that appears. After the Universe 6 tournament, Zamasu was of course watching everything, and he was plotting on what to do next. He figured out that mortals were messing with time, and now they're pretending to be gods. It's a huge offense to him. And there's two in particular that caught his eye during the tournament, Raditz and Vegeta. Raditz was using Godly Ki, and he's the same as one of the people that actually time traveled before. As for Vegeta, he's the stronger one and also the father of one of the time travelers. And that leaves Zamasu with a choice. Should he go with Vegeta, who's stronger, or should he go with Raditz, who's the bigger sinner in his eyes? Both are pretty powerful, even with Vegeta having the clear advantage. And I would love to do Raditz Black here, and it would be my first time doing that. But realistically, if Zamasu had stronger choices, he'd probably go for them. Seeing Vegeta's strength would probably make him want to go with Vegeta Black instead. So on the Sacred World of Kai, while Trunks and future Raditz are training, a portal appears in front of them, and a familiar-looking warrior steps through it. The two of them are speechless. In front of them is Vegeta, or at least it looks like Vegeta. Clearly it isn't actually him. Plus, another great thing with him stealing Vegeta's body is that they won't know what's going on. It'll cause more confusion. If it were Raditz, they'd have no qualms about killing him. Here, he can at least terrify them a bit by pretending to be the actual Vegeta, especially Trunks. But they're not stupid. They're able to immediately tell that this is some sort of doppelganger. Trunks is frozen for a bit too, seeing the spitting image of his father there. But Raditz takes the fight for himself. In Vegeta Black's eyes, he doesn't look transformed. Raditz is holding back right now, but he is in his ultimate form, which looks pretty similar to his normal state. But then Vegeta Black feels a huge surge of power from him, and Raditz vanishes from sight. Now, Raditz doesn't go for the kill right away because he does want to figure out what's going on here first. Plus, he wants to confirm this Vegeta's even a threat. They could tell something was off with him, and also, he did threaten them right away. But Raditz starts the fight, and Vegeta Black is woefully disadvantaged here. Also, he's a little unhinged. Whenever Raditz is damaging him, he feels like he's growing from that damage. Plus the anger alongside it. It'll make him grow far stronger than before. And he welcomes it from Raditz, but Raditz continues to show more strength. And then Vegeta Black realizes that he greatly miscalculated things here. He thought the two in the future timeline would be a lot weaker than everyone in the main timeline. But no, both of them are really powerful, using a form that he hasn't even really seen before. It looks like they're not even transformed in the first place, but clearly they're using something special. And these two are pretty no-nonsense, so after fully confirming that Vegeta Black's a threat, Raditz doesn't hesitate. He kills Vegeta Black. Pretty easily, in fact. Shin and Kibito rush over, but as they do, someone lands in front of Shin and stops him, holding a key blade in front of his face. It's Zamasu. He's been watching from afar, and also realized that the plan's already pretty screwed up. He thought the other Zamasu had everything all planned out, but clearly, things weren't going as he planned. But at least he can kill Shin here and get rid of Beerus. But he is pretty desperate now. Although hope's not all lost, he can still complete the Zero Mortals plan. He still does have his immortality after all. He grabs onto Shin and then lunges his arm towards him. But right as it's about to hit, Kibito is able to paralyze his arm. Just very briefly though. Enough for Trunks to then jump in the way and then kick Zamasu. Then fighting him one-on-one. Trunks then yells out because he's not really too sure what to do in this situation, and he asks if he can kill this guy because clearly he seems to be a Supreme Kai. Shin and Kibito know who he is, but they don't know why he's doing this. But Raditz then appears in front of Zamasu, and with a single blast, completely eradicates him. Which kind of freaks Shin and Kibito out a bit, because even though he was threatening them, they should have kept him alive, although something weird happens. He then regenerates from nothing. Raditz asks if that's normal, because he's never seen a Kai do that, and Shin says it definitely isn't. Unsure of what to do next, the two restrain Zamasu, with Shin and Kibito helping too. Shin and Kibito also prevent him from teleporting away, and they basically interrogate him. And with Shin being able to read minds, it's not really too hard to figure out why Zamasu's here. But it doesn't matter. They can't kill him. No matter what they do, they can't stop him. The Zero Mortals plan is fully in motion. And Zamasu knows that he's kind of screwed right now anyways, but still, pretends like he has the upper hand here. But then weird enough, a large pillar of light appears. Two other people arrive on the sacred world of Kai. Elder Kai's hiding nearby because he knew he couldn't handle this, but he starts freaking out when he sees who it is. It's Beerus and Whis. Beerus is pretty tired. He did just wake up. Oracle Fish told him to wake up right now because this is when he'd meet his rival. Something he dreamt of called a Super Saiyan God, and apparently there are Saiyans here on this planet, so why not check it out? And it's a good thing he came now because he sees what's happening. And once he learns everything, especially the fact that Zamasu's trying to kill Shin, who's linked to him, and the fact that he's already killed Gowasu, Beerus has no choice but to step in. Zamasu gets a bit nervous but then remembers he can't die. Even if Beerus tries to destroy him, it won't work. And Beerus doesn't plan on destroying him. He actually got a pretty good idea when he came here because he saw Elder Kai was freed. So, right off the bat, he knows what to do, easily sealing Zamasu away. And now, he's not going to be an issue, as long as they don't break what he's sealed in. Although Beerus is pretty disappointed to find out that there's no Super Saiyan God here. These two have had their potentials unlocked, and he fights them for a bit, and they're pretty powerful by mortal standards, but they're definitely not gods. Looks like Whis is going to have to whip them in this shape, because he has no other options here. Although he still has other things to do, but he'll come back here in a bit. It has been years since he's been awake after all. So Beerus temporarily leaves, and the whole experience was just really weird. First they got attacked by an alternate Vegeta, then Zamasu showed up trying to kill them, and then Beerus appeared out of nowhere. Concerned about what's happening in the other timelines, Trunks thinks it's maybe best to actually warn them about everything. So he and Raditz go back to the present timeline, letting them know what to expect with Zamasu. Weirdly enough here, Beerus is awake and also on Earth. He's pretty mad to see some time travelers here, but also he learns that these people have time traveled before. Plus, one of them is Raditz. He should scold present Raditz for that, but Raditz says that wasn't his fault. That's his future self. They're two different people. But this ends up working out really well for them because first of all, they warn everyone in the past about Zamasu, and they get to learn about Super Saiyan God, also learning they don't need the ritual for it. Future Raditz fights past Raditz, and he's glad to see the past version of him has grown stronger, and Raditz is pretty happy about this too. They do spend a little bit of time here, but they don't really need to stay for too long. Although it is good for Raditz and Trunks to catch up with everyone again, and learn more about the godly forms that they're supposed to get. So they prevent Zamasu from attacking here, and just as important, they're able to actually impress Beerus now because they know what the Super Saiyan God is. They're not going to be able to do the ritual, but they could train for it. That should still work. So that arc went very differently, but now we move on. The Tournament of Power should be next, but something slipped Bardock's mind for so long and he didn't even remember until now. And he decides to take a brief trip away from Earth. He actually brings Gine along with him too because it was something he's told her about before. Years ago, on a mission, there was someone he saved, right before he sent Kakarot away to Earth. Two people actually, and just out of curiosity, he wants to know if they're still alive. They take a trip to planet Cereal. Bardock did risk his life in that battle after all. I feel like he would want to know the answer of what happened to Granola. When they arrive on the planet, they step off and see that it's inhabited by completely new people. The planet was sold off after all. They spend some time looking around and it seems like there's no trace of Granola here. Not that Gine knows what he's looking for, but Bardock's sure that they will be here. And then, he senses someone's ki rise. Far away in a forest, a blast is launched right at him. Bardock quickly puts a hand up, blocking it. and then another one comes to hit Gine, but she goes Super Saiyan just in time. Although, the beam didn't even hurt that much. Even if she was in base, it probably would have been fine. And Bardock smirks. He is here. They fly towards the forest, and then Granola jumps up in the air, floating up there and yelling down at them while pointing at them, ready to fire more blast off. He asks why 2 Saiyans are here. Immediately he's alert because last time the Saiyans were here, well, they killed everybody. Of course he'd be like this. And Bardock is a bit surprised, but it makes sense Granola wouldn't remember him. But he chuckles to himself. It's good to see that kid survived. And he asks where the Namekian is. He could explain everything. Granola's a bit taken aback by this because why do they know about Monito? And Bardock says he promises he's not here to attack them. He just wanted to make sure Granola was still alive. Besides, Granola can't defeat them as is anyways. And Granola kind of realized that too. But he's not going to take them to Monito just because of that. Although, there's no need. Monito isn't a Namekian after all, so he has pretty good hearing. Plus, he can sense the others arrive. So he goes over on his own, and he's very happy to see Bardock's here, which just makes Granola even more confused because it seems like the Saiyan is telling the truth. And Monito explains more to Granola. Monito even still has a scouter from Bardock from all those years ago, which, that's pretty cool. Bardock takes it as a souvenir for himself. They learn that Bardock and Gine actually did die, but now they're living on a planet called Earth. There are still some other Saiyans alive, including the Prince. And Granola also learns that Frieza died. Twice, actually. One of those times Bardock was the one to kill him. And Monito learns that Bardock's wish panned out. His 2 kids are still alive. Of course, they both died against each other before, but still, it kinda worked. What's more shocking to Bardock is he learns the Heaters are still alive. And Bardock assumes that Granola doesn't want to work with them. He's only doing it because he has no other choice. And he asks to bring them here. Granola thinks he's crazy, but Bardock assures him that he's way stronger than him, or any of the Heaters for that matter. He'll deal with them himself. Reluctantly, Granola is able to get the Heaters to come there, and immediately they realize something's off because there's 2 Saiyans there. And they quickly recognize who Bardock is. Gine goes Super Saiyan, ready to fight Oil and Maki, while Bardock goes right for gas. Alex stands behind watching, curious as to how this will pan out. Gine defeats her opponents pretty easily, and Bardock even taunts Gas to go into his true form. Bardock's just fighting in base right now, and he was pretty scared to see Gine transform, and Bardock lets him in on a little secret. He can transform far beyond what Gine's capable of, and he's way stronger than her too. So Gas unleashes his true power, and Bardock still washes him in base. Alec tries to escape, but it's already too late. The Heaters are defeated that quickly. Granola no longer has to deal with them. He is out of a job, but he can make money other ways. He's glad that they're actually dealt with, because they never really liked each other. And he can't believe what's happening. Bardock coming here in the first place, hearing the story about Bardock saving him, and now Bardock defeating the Heaters just like that. But then another person appears, and he looks just like Bardock. It's Goku. He teleported in after sensing a fight. Just wanted to check to see if they were okay. Bardock and Gine tell him he can't just do that out of the blue. It's kind of an intrusion of privacy just to teleport wherever he wants. He apologizes, he just thought there was a fight going on and he wanted to join. And Monito sees the result of one of Bardock's wishes right there, Goku. And just by looking at him, he could tell he's just as great of a warrior, if not better. Goku meets Monito and Granola. Confused as to why they went here, but Bardock says he'll explain on the way home. And you know what? If Goku's here anyways, he might as well teleport all of them back. Sure, that's fine. He gets a good look at Granola and says it's nice to meet him. The 2 put their ship in a capsule, and each put a hand on Goku, who teleports back to Earth as they wave goodbye. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel and it shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.